tonight's the night.
Too many tuna sandwiches.
And it's going to happen again and again.
Too many tuna sandwiches.
Too many tuna sandwiches.
Has to happen. Last
Too many
night.
tuna sandwiches.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Half a Clue TV review. We are finally here to discuss Dexter New Blood.
Too many tuna sandwiches.
Too many. For context, one of the episodes is called
Dexter
Too Many.
Stale Blood.
It's my favorite episode title. Too many tuna sandwiches. So I also excited. I printed it out 3 times on the call sheet.
We messed up. We messed up on our outlines, and 3 episodes back to back were apparently named Too Many Tuna Sandwiches.
Somebody
very bold of Clyde Phillips.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, Dexter.
Okay, I printed them out like 30 minutes before we were going to
it's fine.
I figured they were
fine, Miles. It's fine,
right.
Miles. Okay. Let's get back on the topic, you guys. All right, so Dexter New Blood is essentially series revival / continuation from where the series left off back in season 8 with, Dexter becoming a lumberjack. Clyde Phillips was brought into the fold after Showtime's like, yeah, we don't have anything really, nobody's really watching our programming. Let's try to boost views. And also they got recently Viacom, CBS, all that shit. They have Paramount Plus, which is also going to absorb Showtime. They need programming. They need content like every other streaming service whore in the world. So they said, what should we do? What does everyone do? Go back to old IPs and revive it or make a continuation. They got Clyde Phillips. They made another season, and that's called Dexter New Blood.
Dun, 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 dun. Where Dexter's a lumberjack, he's walking around with the red flannel and a double-headed axe. Just no.
It's like 10 years after the events of Dexter season 8, the finale. Dexter lives in a small rural town in upstate New York as Jim Limsey, works at a gun shop and has a complete new identity with a rigorous routine. But something comes and obviously his star passenger comes up.
Fun callback actually with the name because
that's the author's name.
Yeah, the
Jeff
author's
Lindsay.
name is Jeff Lindsay. So of the books.
Everybody caught that, Miles.
Okay, fine. Well, you know what? I don't care.
Hey, don't ruin Miles's special parade.
They should have made it. They should have
let him believe.
Look, I'm a fun facts guy around here. I talk about fun facts.
They should have named him Jim Lindsay Murder Man.
Yeah,
really on the nose.
For our longtime viewers and listeners, which is all 72 of you guys, or 75.
75.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Very updated. Let's go. We were covering Dexter's season by season, but through events and life and COVID and all these different things that happened, we weren't able to do our season 6 through 8 wrap up. So we're just doing a mini one right now.
Speed round. Here we go.
So speed round 6 through 8.
Yeah, we're not doing in depth. We're just kind of going quick, rapid fire ratings for everybody. But after season 5, the event of the terrible Lumen Pierce season, we get the
Lumen
Scott
Pierce
Buck
was
era.
So amazing. She was the best person ever in Dexter.
Miles actually might mean that, by the way. He actually loves Lumen Pierce and Julia Stiles because he's a big 10 Things I Hate About You.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, Heath Ledger's greatest role.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway,
so Scott Buck took over the show running duties after season 5. He's always been involved in the show one way or another, and for some people this is the darkest era. Actually, for every person, this is the darkest era of Dexter television series.
Oh yeah.
And it completely veers off into weird territory with season 6 being a religious season, season 7 being a gay Russian crime syndicate storyline, and season 8 has a brain surgeon and a perfectly good waste of a perfectly good Charlotte Rampling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck they
Charlotte
convinced
Rampling. So I hate people that say that's not canon because just don't be a baby. It is. That's That's my thing where I'm even while watching New Blood, I can accept everything, and I have a lot of respect for Clyde Phillips just kind of rolling with it. There was no retcons or anything. He's just fuck it, I'm gonna work with what I have. But in my head, I just pretend Vogel was never a character. I think Vogel is the worst thing that ever happened to Dexter. Another YouTuber 10 years ago when the finale came out made a video talking about why he hated the season 8 so much, and he said that Vogel to him was what the midi-chlorians are to the Force. And I've always cited that guy. I forgot his YouTube name. Sorry if you're listening to this by any chance. I agree with you.
That's a pretty good comparison.
That's a great comparison. It just overcomplicates the established lore, and it's fucking stupid as fuck.
No, I don't think it overcomplicates it. It oversimplifies it,
It just
by
makes
being like expositional mouthpiece that
it takes away
explains his
from
entire character.
it takes away from like what makes Harry kind of an interesting character, which I think in New Blood kind of does ignore the Vogel stuff, because New Blood does kind of get into Harry territory without Harry present, if you know what I mean. But we'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we're gonna speed run 6 through 8.
Oh, yeah, so we're gonna go through every single character, their stupid, shitty arcs,
Yes.
and then every single episode.
Everybody dies.
Oh,
Pretty
season,
much.
Yeah, just real quick, season 6 was terrible with
Season
the
6
religious
is bad.
storyline, and Tom Hanks' son playing, and Edward James Olmos playing a dual villain.
Season 6 does have one of the most hilariously bad lines ever, though, where Colin Hanks is stalking a victim, and he has fake Edward James Olmos in the car with him, and then
Imaginary Edward
imaginary
James
whatever
Olmos,
imaginary Edward James Olmos, and then like Edward James Olmos is like, go kill that girl, but she's like with the guy, and then Colin Hanks is like, are you sure that guy's pretty big? And then Edward James Olmos is like, not as big as God, and then runs him over with the car.
See,
So-
that was easy.
So in the museum for that line only.
Yeah.
Or also, hello, whore.
Hello, whore.
I know.
I think that they really
and then
kind of
they
ruined
have,
the show.
They
when-
have the Dexter and Deborah fucking romance.
Yeah,
kind of
it's
romantic.
not
It doesn't
even-
got all
that
that
was
way
like the
there.
most awkward
awful.
fucking shit ever. I was like, oh, that's just disgusting and weird. And
Nobody
they
cares
kind-
about Deb's
They
therapist.
They did kind of call back to that in New Blood a little bit.
Do they?
Not
Yeah.
really. I wouldn't say they do.
Well, with the awkward relationship between Harrison, because they aren't actually related.
Well,
But
okay,
y-
that's
you know,
extremely different. Deb and
Wait.
Dexter were raised together.
Yeah.
They were brother and sister and everything but blood.
Yeah,
so
I guess.
the fact
Yeah.
that that Deb is like,
Yeah.
what? I don't love my brother, and then the fucking psychiatrist who I'm sure a real
quick,
psychiatrist.
everybody's ratings for season 6. I think we all say it's shit bucket, right?
it's
I would stream it with ads.
I'll say stream with ads, but
Yeah.
that's because
Wow, you guys are
I'm
too
easy
kind.
on Dexter.
yeah, same because
Yeah,
at
It's
least
Oh my God,
entertaining
bad taste.
in a
Bad
bad way.
taste.
exactly
taste.
it was entertaining. I'll
You
say
got
that.
to see
No,
how
it wasn't,
revolted
but
Deb
okay.
was that Dexter was a serial killer. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like at least they had some elaborate kills for the most part, at least
Mhm.
at first with the Doomsday Killer, but after that it just gets boring. It's
Oh.
like I'm just gonna stab a baby.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah.
It's like what?
Yeah.
Come on, man. What happened to all this like showmanship? You're just gonna stab a baby on a rooftop? That's so lame. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good, and I'm giving it a higher rating than it deserves. I'll just say that.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
It was a very bad season.
It's a terrible
and
season.
it definitely
It's
showed a lot of the issues that Dexter has with just like telling people shit when he should tell them stuff to make stuff emotionally
it's just
impactful.
very, very poor writing.
Yeah, it's like
yeah,
there were
it's
so
shit,
many
it's
chances
shit
they
writing,
had.
shit characters, shit,
Let's
shit
move on to season
visuals.
7.
Okay.
We're trying to speed run this
it's
to get
shit
to the
CGI.
point.
Yep.
Season 7, just to speed run it, I think rating, it's for me, it's streaming with ads. It's better, but the whole the crime syndicate storyline was something that felt like out of a completely different show. As
Yes.
something, especially with, it doesn't really feel like something that fits with the nature of the show and also what Dexter should be dealing with. It might fit in like if they did like a movie Dexter movie, you know how like anime does like in between movies and stuff like that, and they tackle a bigger threat that doesn't affect the canon
The crime
storyline.
syndicate arc.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I do like Isaac though.
Yeah, I don't know. Isaac Serco is great by Ray Stevenson.
He's probably
I
one of my favorite characters in the latter seasons of
I will
Dexter.
say this though, it is unfortunate because we actually didn't get to see that play out all the way because Ray Stevenson had to drop out his last 3 episodes. So I think that maybe we'd think about it differently if it had gone through. Because controversial opinion, I actually really like season 7. I find it very entertaining. I like all the LaGuardia stuff. I like the fact that she wants to reopen the Bay Harbor Butcher case. I like Ray Stevenson a lot. And I can, in my head, see what they were going to do with Ray Stevenson. But he has to leave early. And unfortunately, because of that, you can kind of see them have to think last minute and replace him. Because, like, here's what I'll say. I'll make it kind of quick. In season 2, Dexter kills his mother's killer, right? It's this, like,
Mhm.
brutal fucking murder by Dexter. He kills him with a chainsaw. Very fitting. I like how in like this they lose Ray Stevenson, so they need some other bad guy to make Dexter too distracted to deal with LaGuardia properly. So they're like, oh, and the other guy's out of prison now too, so Dexter can kill his mother's killer again. It's very lazy, but it's very obvious that between him and like the Phantom guy, the serial arsonist, like they, after losing Ray Stevenson, they really took a hit and just had to like make a bunch of shit up last minute. So I don't know. I feel like season 7 is the best of the Scott Buck era, but it kind of suffered, and ironically, it wasn't their fault.
No, they could have just shortened the season down. Honestly,
they would have never let them do that. To be fair to them, I'm not like, not saying they really deserve, but like I'm just saying like there's no way they would have let
Showtime.
them. Yeah,
Showtime on because they're also the distributors of the show, so it's like also their fault. So as a whole, yeah, and it's also, I mean, to be fair, also like I would have just like not done a Crime Syndicate, or anyone should have done a Crime Syndicate fucking storyline.
I think it could work.
I feel like
a movie.
I feel like season 7 is really the only season of Scott Buck era that I somewhat like, because it's like it's at least entertaining. And season 6, season 7 is like just boring to me, honestly.
I don't know. So have you guys ever seen the show? What's it called? The one about the guy in Miami who used to be a spy. Burn Notice. Yeah.
Oh,
so I feel like like that storyline with the Russian mobsters and stuff was more like it was
in line with Burn Notice.
Yeah, Burn Notice.
Yeah, it is. It's more in line with Burn Notice. But it's not a Burn Notice.
Yeah, I was fine with it, and I thought it was a good moment for Quinn to do bad cop stuff. I'm a Quinn stan. I've been very transparent about that.
I can't believe he didn't show up.
Whatever character.
Anyway, hey, spoilers. People don't know. Oh, by the way, spoilers for everything, people. If you're not,
if you haven't watched New Blood,
all right. What's your ratings? What's your ratings, everybody? What's your ratings?
I'm gonna get shit for this, but on the shelf.
Oh God.
Okay,
I'm
go
saying
on.
I'm shit bucket. I'm sorry, I don't like the season.
I'm gonna put it streaming with that.
Wait, you put this shit bucket and not season 6 shit bucket?
This is so much better than season 6.
This is so much. I like it's way much better than season 6. I think all of them are shit.
Yeah,
I think. Oh yeah, but then season 6, like season 7.
Yeah, season 6 was like season 6 was goofy, entertaining. Season 7, I was like, I don't know. It felt like, just so half-assed.
Goofy, entertaining. Dexter goes to kill Isaac Serco and then sees a hitman, and the hitman goes, "I don't want to go halvesies." And then Dexter has to kill a hitman. What do you mean? There is a guy that dresses up like a fucking Viking bull that chases people through a maze.
Okay,
what the
all right.
fuck are you talking about?
I do want to mention that season 6, 7,
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Blake on Dexter. This is a rare opportunity. I really don't like.
Strangely enough,
that's a bad take, Ron.
For how horrible these like last 3 seasons are, they had the most consistency out of any seasons. I feel.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, no, completely wrong. Okay, completely wrong.
Anyways, Miles, let's get over this season.
Let's move on to season.
What's your rating?
Oh yeah,
what's your rating?
Yeah.
Oh, streaming with ads.
Okay, so season 8. Do we really want to get into it? That 900 YouTube videos haven't covered. What's it called?
Season 8's bad. Can we just like leave it there?
It's a good lead-in for Dexter New Blood, though.
Vogel's a stupid fucking character. The Brain Surgeon's a stupid fucking villain. Anton Yates is a stupid fucking villain. The Zach Hamilton storyline was like very, very odd. And it almost felt like they wanted to have a gotcha moment where they're kind of grooming him to be like the next Dexter.
Yeah.
And then he dies. And it's like, it really just feels like
pointless.
They were just trying to make you think like, you thought. I don't know. Season 8 is bad. I don't think anyone is going to disagree with me on that.
Yeah.
Shit
no,
bucket.
it's bad. It's shit bucket. That's a shit bucket.
Shit bucket.
All right, we're moving on. What's it called? Well, if you guys want to hear
really quick.
People ranting about season 8, you guys can go on YouTube and you'll find 3 million videos on it. Yeah.
It's a terrible ending, and it's so bad that they spawned another season.
Just bad.
Okay. So what was everyone's feelings going into this show? Were you guys worried about the show being like another retread? It's going to be disappointing. Or were you guys actually really hopeful that the show would redeem the legacy of? So
I want to talk because I was the one that wanted to do Dexter on this podcast in the first place.
Yeah, fuck you for that.
I'm as everybody on this panel knows, through thick and thin, I'm a huge Dexter fan. And now I want to make this very, very clear. I fundamentally understand that even the best season of Dexter probably isn't that good. But I saw it when I was very young, and it really left an impression on me. And I don't know, I love the character. I love it so much. I have written a trilogy screenplay outline for what I would do with Dexter. Like, I love the character. So obviously, I was very excited that they were doing a revival. I remember where I was. I was outside on a smoke break at work, and I was like, oh, Dexter revival. Fuck yeah. Now, I kind of had two angles going into this. I was like, I'm going to enjoy this either way, because either it'll be really, really good, and it will provide a satisfying ending to Dexter, or it'll be terrible, and it'll be hilarious, and I'll talk about it regardless. So I was cautiously optimistic into going into this.
Yeah, I was kind of in the same boat. I was a little bit more worried, I think. I obviously was super dissatisfied with the ending, like most people. And when they said they're coming back with this, I was like, okay, the fact that Michael C. Hall agreed to do this and Scott Buck.
And Clyde Phillips.
Or sorry, Clyde Phillips.
Clyde Phillips. Don't you dare put Clyde Phillips as Scott Buck.
Dude, I don't even
Clyde
want to
Phillips
see...
is, by the way, for context, Clyde Phillips is the ones who many
showrunner.
consider one of the better seasons of Netflix, seasons 1 through 4.
Yeah, so
it was brought back.
Do you really want to see Scott Buck's New Blood?
You know, like in an alternate universe, maybe. But like, so I was like, okay, that feels pretty big. That feels very significant. The fact that like Michael C. Hall has been like allegedly saying no to this project a lot, or like it's been pitched to him before, and he says no, but he says yes this time. It's like that could either be because like I don't know, he just wants to get back into the spotlight as Dexter, or it's like maybe it's good. And yeah, so I was like, all right, we'll see. I was cautiously optimistic. Yeah.
Yeah, for me,
What about you, Miles?
Oh, I was just about to say, for me,
How about you, Miles?
yeah.
How about you, Miles?
For me, well, going into it, I was like, shit, now I'm going to have to hear more about Dexter from Blake and from my dad. My dad is a huge Dexter fan. He literally talks about it all the time. He was super excited for New Blood to come out. He got Showtime streaming just because of New Blood. And so it did what they aimed for it to do, I guess. Got more subscribers to their service.
So like 99% of the people who did got it for New Blood.
So they got good value out of this TV show. But overall, I was like, okay, I didn't really like Dexter that much as a show. So going into this, I was like, okay, well, I got to finish watching it. Oh, well.
One thing I have to say that's really funny is I've been drunkenly talking about Dexter for like 8 years.
Yes.
And I was starting to settle down. And I bet you guys, when you saw that announcement, were like, oh, fuck, here we go again.
That's what
Here's another decade of Dexter talk by Blake.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of Star Wars, where there's been, like, we used to talk nothing but Star Wars for fucking hours. And then as we've been, just getting a bukkake of Star Wars content over the years, it's like, that's like burnt us out, but especially Blake, who refuses to talk Star Wars now.
I don't talk about Star Wars.
Not anymore. So it's like this is the opposite effect. Now it's the resurgence.
Yeah, there wasn't a good Star Wars movie before or after the prequels.
Well,
the prequels are fucking terrible. So
they're great.
Anyway,
Jar Jar Binks is a hero.
We're not talking Star Wars.
No more Star Wars. and that's it. Okay, so as for me, when I was on the show, I've seen all of. Oddly enough, I don't really like the show at all, but I still watch it because my uncle will be like. We'd be like switching off, like we were watching Sopranos. Sopranos came out before, but I would just continue watching TV with him, which was Dexter.
He was like, "Let's watch something good."
What's it called? Yeah, and then he was traumatized. Yeah, let's call. We talked recently right after the finale, and asked if what he thought of the finale, which I will bring up when we get into the episode. And I thought wow, I honestly came into morbid curiosity. It's like, wow, this is it was such a shit show the way they left season 8. I'm just curious how or what they're gonna do, especially with them bringing back Clyde Phillips. I feel like at least on a technical level it'll be better, right? And also with all the advancements and lighting and camera techniques and stuff like that, I'm hoping that they bring that into the New Blood, especially with how bleh it looks. From the series.
There won't be any Harrison falling on the treadmill going, ow, 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 ow.
What?
In season 8, Harrison falls on the treadmill and he goes, ow, 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 ow. It's like the worst scene in Dexter history.
Oh, yeah.
So it's yeah. So I thought,
Hello,
okay,
horror.
we'll I said we'll see. I was just curious, more of a curiosity. That's the main how I was going into it. Like it's like in terms of disappointing, like I mean, it's how can you disappoint me further than like absolute shit like seasons like season 8 like particularly. It can only be upside from here, right?
Yeah.
And
How
watching
wrong
it,
you were.
what's it called? And we'll get to that. So okay, so the pilot episode comes out. It's attracts all the Showtime people hordes to Showtime who are like, oh wow, now Showtime is a viable streaming service for like 9 weeks or 10 weeks. Um, and it's we're introduced to a new setting. It's in a small rural town upstate New York. Dexter's living as Jim Limsey. He's working at a gun shop. He has a new life, a rigorous daily routine,
He's square
avoids
dancing.
killing. Yes. And has a new girlfriend, Angela Bishop, played by the amazing Julia Jones,
Who happens to
who's
be
also
a police officer.
the police chief. Yeah. And
Oh, whoa, Miles.
and-
I'm sorry. Hold the phone. Happens to be a police chief? No. That was subconsciously on purpose.
Well, okay, yeah. That's
I
yeah,
feel like
no,
let's
you're
be
right.
real.
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Okay.
was on purpose.
And-
but-
Is it a little
and
weird
also
that
the big thing
sorry.
the big thing is that for 10 years that he hasn't murdered anybody,
Yes.
right? And he's trying to stick to that with Deborah Carpenter as his new Harry.
his new dark passenger.
Hello, Ari.
I would call her his light
well,
passenger.
it's not his dark passenger. It's more of his like
No.
guilt. Harry was never his dark passenger either. It's more
No.
like a manifestation of his guilt. And by the way, I'm just gonna go out swinging. I thought Deb as his like weird ghost person was fucking perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unlike Carrie, who just like would show up and be like, Dexter, you need to do this. I like that Deb it almost feels like Deb lives with him. Like, and it's like clearly this fucked up version of Deb that just hates him. And like, she says a bunch of fucked up shit. Like, I love that scene where in the pilot episode where Dexter wakes up from the nightmare about Deb dying, and then she's like, "It's okay, Dexter. I'm glad I died first." It like really goes to show his mental state. You know what I mean?
yeah, and like the scene where she's in the car with him and
Yeah.
does like all that weird stuff. She's like manic and chaotic. It's beautiful. It's
Oh,
hilarious.
Out the gate, though, can we talk about how the improvement of cinematography? Because like, as much as I like Dexter, it's never been good.
Wait. Let's
Yeah,
not
we'll
jump the
get
gun
to
yet.
it, we'll get to it.
Let's
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're gonna get to that. That's the next thing on the thing. So, what do you guys think of mainly what do you guys think of the new settings? And also, by the way, in the first episode, Harrison Morgan appears and he kills Matt Caldwell, who's the son of Kurt Caldwell, who's the who's played by Clancy Brown.
Yeah,
Wait, you said
right, so-
Harrison
yeah,
killed Matt? You said-
Harrison does not kill
Harrison does
Matt Caldwell.
Dexter Morgan kills what's
Yeah.
called Matt Caldwell.
Okay.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the new setting, the new area, the new
I liked
and
it.
all that stuff?
I liked it because one thing that I did like about the original show is I've always felt like it had fun with being in Miami. So it was like, new area. It's interesting. But I
they
do
should have
think
set it outside of Portland.
I do think they had a lot of fun with like the snowy area. Like
Yeah.
they definitely played into that. So I really liked the new
Well,
setting.
no, hear me out, because in the original series, Dexter does have a line where he says, "Oh yeah, all serial killers just go to Portland to retire and stuff like that." So
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
I think
would have
that-
been a little too on the nose, though. To be fair, no,
Yeah.
I really like it. I feel like it's great. It's a complete shakeup of like what we're used to. Of course, obviously, like the most opposite place of Miami is like a cold front, up in New York. I think they took advantage of it really well. The settings, just like the smokiness, the cold, the snow, like it's a nice like change of pace, and I feel like it gave it like a very fresh start for the characters and just the show in general. I think it was good job. I mean, they could have just done it like in LA or something, and I feel like that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
It's like Miami light, like I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad that they chose this particular place, and particularly that, again, like we were saying at the end of season 8, that you see him in like that snowy landscape, and they could have just Clyde Phillips could have been like, fuck that, he's in like whatever, like he's in Oregon, he's in like Maine or something, but he's like, no, he just stuck with it. He's like, nah, we're gonna do it here, and we're gonna make this work.
Well, technically Dexter does move though in context of the show, because
Oh.
that is not the same cabin he ends up in, because Harrison mentions to him, I tracked you down in Oregon, but then you weren't there, so I had to find you
Oh, yeah,
here.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Idiot.
Well,
Okay.
he fucking like it's the basics.
I know.
idea.
I'm just fucking with you.
What do you guys think about? Okay, so then what do you guys think about Harrison Morgan coming back, and also, you know,
He looks
the
way
fact
too
that
old. He was like 3.5 when the original show ended.
He was like 5.
No, he was 3.5. The last 3 seasons take place over the span of like 4 months.
Yeah, but also the last 3 seasons have no fucking consistency in time at all.
No, but they literally do. Like if you look through the timeline.
No. I'm
he's
saying
like 3.5 years
I'm
old.
saying that they very poorly execute time. Like Harrison is much older in season 8 than he is in season 6.
Yeah.
In season 6, he's like a fucking he's still a baby.
He's like a newborn. Yeah, so I'll just say that they did mention, they don't mention it, but it's noted that technically Harrison should be about 13 years old in this series, but instead they aged him up to 16, which I'm totally fine with because
it works better.
Yeah, it just makes it way more interesting.
They should have just waited 3 more years.
Although it could have been pretty dark and fucked up to see him as a 13-year-old doing a lot of this stuff. I mean, minus the partying and sex and stuff. But like, just having him just be like, "Oh, come over here, Harrison," and do this shit with me. No, but I liked him coming back. I think the actor was pretty well cast.
Jack Alcott.
Yeah, he's got a very young, like, boyish face. Like, it's like very like kind of innocent look to him,
but also creepy.
Yeah, but he definitely
just
like
creepy enough.
When he showed up, I was like, "There's no way this guy's normal." I know that they're acting like he's normal, but like just like in a story sense or whatever, I'm like, "There's no way this kid's normal." So I'm glad that they
I thought
brought him
Harrison,
back,
and I like that because that was like one of my biggest questions going into it because I didn't look anything into New Blood. I never watched a trailer or anything, and I was like, they either have to acknowledge Harrison or they just don't at all. So I'm glad that they just went full throttle with it and made the entire series about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's the largest theme in this like whole series or this season. It's about like fatherhood
and the sins that the sons pay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go with that. I think Harrison. Yeah, I think I kind of echo everyone's thoughts. Main thing, and by the big one is if you're gonna do a time jump, and just to make Harrison's age work, if you wanted to do a 16-year-old, you should have said like I don't know, it took place like 13 years later instead of just 10 years.
Yeah.
But
I don't know why
it just doesn't bother me.
They could have just had it take place 13 years later. I mean, like, it would have worked still.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't, but it's really kind of weird. I guess they just wanted to be consistent.
10 years.
No, they wanted to have. They wanted to, because 10 years and also because of real time and stuff like that. But it's whatever.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, it's like I said, the show never really cared about details, so it's consistent actually in a weird way. So, and then what do you guys think about Matt Caldwell and him bringing out the Dark Passenger in
Matt
Dexter?
Caldwell's a fucking idiot, and like, okay, so who shoots a deer while a dude's standing right next to it? Like, no, like
Matt
literally,
Caldwell.
that guy, he deserved to die. Like 100%.
Jesus, Miles.
No,
he shot a deer.
No,
I know.
He fired a gun towards the direction of Dexter and hit the deer. Like literally that's the stupidest fucking shit that you can do. That's not good rifle control. That's just he's a fucking idiot, and he didn't deserve to stay around to populate for the future.
Okay, so I thought Matt Caldwell was a little too over the top for me.
Exactly.
He's a little too no, not like that though. He's a little too much of an asshole for me where I'm like, okay, if Dexter is going to kill after 10 years, this is the guy. But I do think that I feel the context of the whole season, I don't think it's as bad because I think as the season goes on, I kind of feel a little bit bad for him given his father situation. But still, I did think he was a little bit cartoony. He's a little bit too much like, I'm a douchebag, meh. But I mean, Dexter was going to break, and I actually think that Dexter breaks because of Harrison and not him. Really quick context. Cold snap, actually, apparently, according to people online, that's a heroin term, and it refers to when someone who has been clean for a very long period suddenly has a break in their routine and it makes them relapse. So it's in theme. I do think he's a little over the top, but I was fine with it.
Yeah, I think he's okay. I like him for the most part. I say he serves his purpose in terms of the story. Yes. But yeah, he is a little bit over the top. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, that over the topness just really was like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's not a person who is like
there
that
is.
out there.
No,
in this
there
world.
is.
No, there are.
There
No,
are.
there are, Miles.
Yeah.
No, there are, Miles.
There's plenty of Matt Caldwells out there.
Yeah, he serves his purpose, deserves his fate, and was good. But he did that whole event where after he hits Matt on the face with the butt of his rifle, and then his dark passenger comes out, was probably, not gonna lie, one of the only times in the show where I ever got chills. I was like, oh wow, it's cool, that was nice. When his inner voice of Dark Passenger came out, yeah, that was cool. That was probably the best scene in the entire series for me. But that was nice. I like that. What's called? And you guys, anything last wrap up thoughts on the pilot episode before we move on?
I thought it was a little bit ridiculous that that Dexter, in all the years that he had been in Iron Lake, hadn't figured out like a strategy for if he does like accidentally break and kill somebody, how to hide the body or how to get away with it. It feels like he takes a lot of time like preparing, and he was very prepared and planned everything out. And that's something that I think he would have planned for, not had to like just think on his feet to figure out, fuck, what do I do with this body now?
I think that he was trying so hard not to, but also he kind of did, right? Like, he's clearly set himself up to be able to kind of monitor shit because he's dating the police officer. And I think he probably thought he wasn't going to kill again, like, or at least he was lying to himself and saying that. But I think he knew that if push came to shove, he could figure it out. He's a genius in that regard, kind of.
He's also a fucking idiot, though. Sometimes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
You mean like he was already creating his kind of idiot where he's doing all of his Bay Harbor butcher shit without a mask. It's just like, but whatever.
Can you name one serial killer who wore a mask besides the Zodiac?
What's it called? And Zodiac, has he been caught? And also, he's supposed to be smarter. He's supposed to be smarter than the Zodiac killer. He's supposed to be this godlike, what's it called? And I think like by the way, on Reddit and like other like the Dexter Wiki, there's power rankings for serial killers. He's supposed to be like S level on every fucking.
But also, weird, right? I think a huge part of this show is that Dexter's out of practice. Like, and he brings that up a lot. He's like, "Fuck, I'm out of practice." And even like, I like his line in a later episode where he discovers Kurt's a killer, and he's just like, my instincts are not what they used to be.
Huh.
So I don't know. I'm okay with him fucking up.
Yeah, I think it just again, when we get to the
I'm okay with
episodes,
this episode fucking up, but I'm just saying in the previous season where he never wore whatever. But that's the whole thing.
Whatever.
We talked about it previous seasons.
Let's move on.
So,
visual upgrade.
The big thing is big thing with Dexter New Blood, as Blake kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is that obviously the visuals took a big bump. Better production values, better color grading. Gosh, the color grading was terrible, especially season 1 and 2. And more consistent lighting and stuff like that. It's still not amazing. It's still HBO light, but it's honestly I welcomed improvement in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the best it's ever looked visually and cinematography wise.
I did like the way that they did the episode title for each episode at the beginning. Cool. I thought the effects that they chose to use always seemed to look interesting and cool, and it got you kind of like into the episode, even if you didn't really care about the episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Well, yeah, I think it was an overall upgrade in pretty much every sense. That was cool. I think, like I said before, they really took advantage of the environment and stuff, and yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, great job, guys. It looks good.
Yeah, better contrast, better shadows on the face, but
yeah, lighting. It's like kind of softer, like gives it more of a glowy feel. Again, especially with like that coldish haze that like, and I appreciate that they actually they shot it on location in like cold places. I know it's like seems like it would be a no-brainer, but sometimes they don't do that.
No, most people shoot it in like production backlog blue screen, and they just put snow on the ground.
Yeah, apparently they shot this all in Massachusetts.
It adds a lot to see actual snow.
Yeah, and to see their cold breath and everything, and you feel that they're actually in those environments, which was just good.
Yeah,
really
it felt like I was watching Fargo.
Yeah, well, they do make a Fargo reference. It's a little Fargo.
My God, Fargo. Okay, let's not. Okay, please don't mention Fargo. Then I'm gonna start fucking railing on this show. But then because that one actually, that's just called. That was excellent on every level and visually 10 times better than this. But I want to give due credit where credit's due. That at least they improved. They
Yeah.
improved quite a bit for the first 8 seasons.
Great
'Cause I wanted to
job, Hillary Faye.
Yeah,
Hillary.
Fife Sparrow and Michael Watson. Yeah, those two.
Fife
Those
Sparrow.
what's it called?
Yeah.
They had. I mean, they've always had consistent cinematographers, but I think this one, yeah, I don't think they've worked on the previous Dexter. I've tried to look them up. They're not like household names or anything, so.
Yeah, good for
But
them.
it's
Hopefully
good
this is like their breakout work. I'd like to see them what they can do in the future, you know?
and improve.
Yeah.
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 And it's cool. And then and then some of the shots are better. Like you have like the slow little camera pans. You have you see them using dollies a little bit more and stuff like that. Even though they do that in the original series, but better and more subtle here. And stuff they did with Deborah. Some of the shots, like Deborah's hands coming around Dexter's face, or
Yeah.
some of the shots with Deborah coming out of the ice, or like the telephoto lens where like blown out backgrounds as she's like pulling out the bullet from her fucking stomach, and it's just intense look on her face, and it looks a lot better. So
Yeah,
I
it's
can
like
just a little bit more creative.
I think they really kind of breathe a lot of life into this small town. You really kind of get the sense of it a lot more, like just geography speaking, kind of where everything is situated. Like there's the diner, there's like the restaurant that he goes to, bar, and like the high school and stuff like this. And it's like that's one of my issues I had when they go to Miami is they always do the same fucking like wide shots or whatever of Miami. It's like dan, 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 and then they go and it's the same fucking shot of like the police station. But this felt like they were always looking for at least a more interesting way
Yeah, it's much more
to
visually
approach
interesting.
certain locations, and it's always like, okay, cool, like it's just so much better.
Yeah, like you got the shot of the bridge, the shot of the police station.
There's the river, you know
Yeah.
where that is. Like, okay, cool. As you're driving through town, you can kind of get a feel for this place, and it really does feel like some
It
small
makes me
town.
want to
up
go to
there.
Iron Lake.
Yeah,
As better like better eagle eye shots than back in Miami and stuff like that, because it just looked like a generic helicopter shot in Miami.
yeah. I'm like, that looks like
Um,
stock footage. I'm pretty sure they filmed this in like Long Beach or something.
Yeah. Well, it's called and then and it's funny because they brought back the same director, Marco Siega, who did, and also I think Sanford Booksaver might have done some stuff too, but Marco Siega is one of the bigger directors on Dexter, and I guess as age with experience, so he probably he's improved. So I see the improvement here, and kudos to you, man.
Great.
I would call it. So what do you guys think about the characters for New Blood? Particularly, do you guys like both the returning characters? So we have Dexter, Harrison, and Angel, and Deborah, and the new characters like Angela Bishop, Audrey Bishop, Molly, what's it called? Molly Park, right? That's her name.
Molly Park.
Fred Jr.
Logan.
Yeah.
Logan.
Oh,
So what do you guys
Logan.
think of what do you guys think of? First, let's talk about the returning characters. How you guys handled that? Do you guys think
they should've-
Dexter was redeemed?
they
Do you
should've
think
done
Harrison
more
Morgan
with
was an interesting
Angel.
character?
They should have done more with Angel, especially towards the end of the
We'll
series.
get into
Yeah.
that later.
Oh yeah,
Later,
we'll
but
save that for the end.
Well, you asked about returning characters, and that's what I thought. They should have done.
Oh,
more
yeah,
with
yeah.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
was-
that's true.
I was
Yeah.
okay with that. I feel like again, like we
it
said
serves
before,
a different purpose, but we'll get into that later.
yeah.
everything they did with Deborah, I pretty much loved across the board.
Mhm.
I feel like again, just how they work with her visually and the story wise, and the fact that she really does feel like that guilt and anger, and just like it shows the instability of his mind and everything. She's just like constantly berating him, and then she'll like switch over to being like, she's like that like manic depressive like person, like
she's she's the perfect manifestation of Dexter's guilt and just shame, really. And it's really sad. It's like he's living with the person that in his mind he killed, and I don't know. I thought that Deborah felt so much better than Harry in terms of his ghost person.
yeah.
She really represented a lot. I thought.
Yeah, Harry was always just like the embodiment of the code, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
essentially.
But like Deborah actually being there,
It's
and
a
being like, don't.
manifestation of the guilt.
Yeah, she's like, don't do this, Dexter, or like, you piece of shit, you fucking freak, they should kill you. And it's just like, damn. It's like, again, it's like, I'm not saying everyone has like those exact dark thoughts, but you definitely understand when you have like, if you had a manifestation of like, that person or that voice in your mind that is like, that shits on you or makes you feel bad for yourself. It's like, that's terrible. That seems like such a tragic thing, and especially its embodiment of his sister, who he inadvertently got killed pretty much. So it's like,
But did he really?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's directly his fault.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, that's great. As far as like actual like Dexter, I think they did redeem him in a lot of ways. There's still again some issues I had, but for the most part, like I think they do a great job of like just reestablishing him and making him feel like Dexter, but again like a guy that's like he's grown a bit, but like a lot like a drug addict, he kind of like he just falls back into those bad habits, and it's like it's tragic. Overall, I think that's just this season. Just it feels tragic in many ways. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, Harrison's
I don't know if it feels tragic.
I liked Harrison. I thought Harrison was well done too.
Harrison was one of the better parts. I did like, his journey and understanding of what happened to the past, why Dexter left, his own discoveries, his dark passenger and Dexter's dark passenger, and rekindling that relationship. That was the backbone, and that was nice, for returning characters.
I was waiting
Angel
for
Batista.
Oh, sorry, go.
Angel Batista, I kind of agree with Miles on some parts, but we get into the finale. And I'm surprised, like I said, honestly, this show, when we get into overall, like, we obviously Vince Masuka and stuff like that, we wanted those characters. But, like I said, this show, like, in an ideal situation, the series should have ended in Miami with Clyde Phillips, and the resolution that it got should have been with them. But for what we got, it works. Yeah, with the returning characters, especially with Dexter.
I was waiting for the scene where Dexter tells Harrison, okay, so I'm a serial killer, your mom was killed by a serial killer, your stepmom was a serial killer, your uncle was a serial killer, and just what else? Like, oh yeah, your aunt was also killed by a serial killer.
But not the same serial killer.
Yeah, all these are very different serial killers, by the way. It's like it just shows that.
And you were once kidnapped by a serial killer.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Colin Hanks
completely
you one time.
Yeah, completely different.
Which he doesn't remember that, but he remembers the Trinity Killer stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about the new characters, especially with Angela Bishop and Sergeant Logan
Sergeant
and Kirk
Logan,
Caldwell?
Sergeant Logan, I'm a stand for him. I loved him, so we know where that's going. I thought I liked Kurt Caldwell a lot. I thought he was, in terms of like real life serial killers, he was actually the most realistic, where he actually does have like that fucked up serial killer mind where, as much as we like characters like Arthur Mitchell, he's unrealistic. As much as we like characters like the Ice Truck Killer, it's a little unrealistic. Dexter too. But I thought Kurt Caldwell actually felt like a real life serial killer. So I thought he was great, and I also liked Angela.
Especially when he starts crying because he ruined his prize and stuff. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it flips out. I pretty much liked all of the characters, the new characters across the board, except for maybe what was her name? Audrey. She was fine. Like
she was fine. I think that was the weakest performance.
What are you talking about? I liked Audrey's performance. I think that she did a good job. I think she did a good job doing what she was there to do, which was to be kind of that high school romance and that backbone, and then also the person who brings Harrison into the community. As a younger person, to introduce him into the community of the high school and kind of reflect Harrison's thoughts on who he is and his feelings about himself in terms of his peers.
I just thought, I don't know. I feel like she was a little, just kind of there. I don't know. Like I do understand again the narrative function of the character, but like. I don't know. Just also the bullies I felt were really funny. Just the fact that they were like the
small dick anime virgin.
the fact that they're like just these real piece of shit kind of guys 1 second, and then they're like, oh, they're pretty nice bros, and then they're real pieces of shit again, and actually, oh no, they're pretty nice guys. It's like, what? How the fuck do you want me to feel about these guys?
I think you're just supposed to feel like they're regular kids. I think that's the point. It wasn't hammered in enough, but I think
teenagers.
I think the point is like, they're just kids.
At one point, they're like mentally torturing this poor kid, and like they're like real assholes, and it's like that's the moment, like, oh, they're actually not good, and then later they're like, hey man, we're here to bring all this shit because your house burned down. We really like you. Like, oh, well, they're really sweet. And then
I think that if they had hammered in, like, these are all children like Harrison, it would have worked out better, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like they had like 3 characters from the high school, and that's all they really wanted to do. And that's fine because I guess, the main focus is Dexter and Harrison.
Yeah, and the series never cared about character consistency, so it made sense. Yeah.
They're
for me, Angela Bishop was the best of the new characters, mainly because maybe I'm biased towards Julia Jones. Like
She's
I
a
said,
great
big fan of the
actress.
actress. Like obviously Wind River and what's it called and Westworld, stuff like that. She's been around the block.
My
And then that character, even though I like that, like to be honest, like the whole like let's say when we get into resolution stuff, not to get too much into it, that character probably should have been one of the returning characters, like the role, the function, the narrative. But for what we got, I enjoyed it. Oh yeah, I forgot she's in the Mandalorian too, right?
Yes, she
As
is.
the potential endpoint for the Din Djarin.
She's in one of the bottle
Episode
episodes.
4 of season 1.
Yeah.
What's it called? Audrey, completely agree with Ron. It's just there, but it's fine. She serves that function as a romantic interest for Harrison and whatever. Molly Park was fine. She was cool, I guess.
She gets a lot of hate online. People really don't like that character.
I don't know why. I mean, I think again, she wasn't really that bad.
Because nerds don't like women, Ron.
I think it's more so like because of what she represents, like that podcaster who's
that's
out to what some of those idiots online
Yeah,
would call an SJW.
I thought Molly
person
Park was
out on a
fine.
mission to.
I think the biggest problem with Molly Park is she doesn't really do anything. Towards the end,
She kind of just
she just dies.
just
Yeah.
off screen.
Off screen.
It's like she died.
She's basically an exhibitional piece for to catch Angela up on the show. Like she's never seen Dexter, right, Angela? So Molly Park is there to tell her what happened for season 6, 1 through 8.
I think
If
that's
anything-
like for everything. It's like just to like recap from the original show because she talked about like all the murders that happened in Miami that Dexter was like a part of. Yet she doesn't recognize Dexter. Like I would have thought that she would like have seen pictures of the people
Maybe
who actually
she was
worked
working
on these
an
cases.
investigation. Who knows?
Uh,
It's fine.
well,
I don't.
If
Molly
anything-
Park was fine. That's my entire opinion.
I agree with
anything-
Miles' complaint that like possibly that picture should have showed up. But once again, this character, this show like purposely like it's also a bad thing about Clyde Phillips even in season 1 through 4. They ignore logical elements like this to just get to like to fit their specific narrative thread line that they're going. Because obviously, if Molly figured out who Dexter was, the show would be like 3 episodes. Would have been better 3 episodes, probably, but yeah.
If anything, I feel like she should have just been like the podcast, like in the background. Like maybe the characters were like, "Let me look this shit up" or something, and then they listen to her, and then they see maybe a video about her or something like that. But having her actually be there, like I will say that I did like enjoy her relationship with Angela. Like they're kind of like they become buddies. Like I kind of like that because I think Angela needed that extra person to just really bounce ideas off that wasn't just Dexter. Although I guess maybe they could have fulfilled that role a little bit more
Logan
with
or something.
with Logan, flesh out his character a little more. But I think she wasn't terrible. She didn't not offensive to me in any way. I don't know why people are so against her. I think she was fine.
See,
for Kirk Caldwell, I think Miles might agree with me on this. I know we talked about this on outside of the podcast. I think it's it's a pretty lame villain. Honestly, I love Clancy Brown.
I
A waste
disagree.
of a pretty good Clancy Brown. Like I said, it's stock sympathetic serial killer villain.
I disagree. And I wouldn't call him
it's gonna be
sympathetic. I
wrong.
wouldn't call him sympathetic. Ron, I need you to pay attention so you can back me up.
I'm listening.
We were watching the Dexter finale last night, and Ron was texting the entire time.
I was not. I was texting Philip, by the way.
Yeah.
Anyways,
We were talking.
um,
This game, Blake likes to lie and create narratives. I'm just
Anyways.
kidding.
I liked Kurt Caldwell a lot because one, like I said, and I think Ron will agree with me on this, he is more realistic than most Dexter villains, right?
He is honestly, he is one of my favorite villains on the show so far.
Also, I like him a lot because I just thought that he's not the biggest threat Dexter has ever faced, but he's kind of like parallels Dexter, right? And when you get to episode 9, I think that I like his last scene a lot. I really like his whole wait, what? Some bullshit code? Are you fucking with me? I just think that Clancy Brown was a great parallel to Dexter, where it's hey, Clancy Brown's fucked up and he's got a fucked up son and he's in this cycle of fatherhood, which is kind of the theme of this show, is breaking the cycle. So I just thought that he was an interesting parallel. He's not the most menacing villain Dexter's gone up against, but I thought thematically he worked really well. And I just really like the performance. I kind of like that he's not some badass. He's kind of a little bitch, and he has like little hissy fits. Like, I don't know. I thought it was great. I personally loved Kurt Caldwell. I thought he was a great villain for what this show needed. Because I was 100% against this show having a villain initially, but I thought since it was more of a thematical one and not necessarily a danger, like the craziest danger Dexter's ever faced, I was like, yeah, that works. I like Kurt Caldwell.
Yeah, no, I didn't like Kurt Caldwell. I thought that he got lucky way too many times and treated it like it was because he was smart throughout the show. There was a lot of issues where it was like, oh yeah, you know, at certain times it feels like he had to be like this genius to run circles around Dexter, always knowing what was coming next. But it never explained how he knew it was coming next or how he predicted this stuff. And I would say he actually does seem a lot like a portrayal of another Dexter out there, because Dexter has the same issues where sometimes it seems like he's really smart, but he also makes some of the dumbest mistakes you can frickin' make.
I don't know.
And
I
then
don't
doesn't
think the
pay
show
for
ever
him,
portrayed him as a genius, though. He's just like a somewhat wealthy guy that has gotten away with this because he's worked it out. I don't think like Kurt Caldwell was supposed to be like the genius serial killer.
Okay, why is he the only one who works out that Dexter was the one who killed his son?
They explain that. It's because of the ash in Dexter's car, because Dexter was like ashing it through his thing. And then he just reasonably thought, so he went and checked.
The ash was falling outside, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm okay with it. That was honestly, if anything, you should be complaining about Dexter's fuck up of picking up Kurt Caldwell. Just let him drive home drunk.
Yeah, no, I am.
No, so I'm saying that Dexter made the mistake there. But I don't know. I was fine with it. Like I said, and I really like Kurt. I liked how he's kind of like, he's just very like abrasive, and he's very like not afraid to like fuck Dexter's shit up. And he's not afraid of Dexter. I think that's what I really liked about him, was that he never was really afraid of him, as opposed to other villains that would kind of see behind Dexter's eyes and be like, oh fuck, this guy's a predator. Like Kurt Caldwell, he's just like a narcissistic piece of shit and he doesn't care. I liked it. It really worked for me.
I'll say I did like Kurt for the most part. I really liked his like the way that he killed, and like his like whole process and everything was very interesting, and it led to like a really cool visual moments and stuff like that. And thematically, I think his origin and basically his final table scene is one of my favorite in the show.
Yes, I agree 100%.
But I feel like he lost a little bit with that like red herring they tried to pull with the other billionaire guy, and then they're like show him like, oh, is this guy gonna be the killer? And then it's like, oh no, it's actually this dude.
Yeah, that's a whole other problem though, because like that guy is literally only there to be a red herring.
Yeah, he's there.
No, they totally drop him. Like it's like he didn't even exist.
That takes away from like I think maybe for this character to work. Like it's super obvious that Kurt like Clancy
everybody
Brown
knows from fucking episode 2.
Yeah. And then it's like, so it should have been revealed like much sooner than that, so there's more time to develop and understand more inner workings of that character. And not gonna lie, just honestly, no, I disagree with the fact that your antagonist is supposed to create conflict for your protagonist character to, and to.
Well, he does. I'm just
drive
saying,
out the drama.
He
not
does.
That much. Not. It's like compared to the other thing. He doesn't have to be, obviously like a crazy threat.
I think
like,
his thing was more like he was kind of.
It's just I think bad writing for an antagonist is just like where you don't create that much conflict, you don't create that much threat, you don't create that much tension for a final season villain. It's kind of super lackluster.
It was more about how he was grooming Harrison. That was really the point. And it's kind of
I felt no tension.
Really, I felt a lot of tension.
No, there was no.
That was just like
I felt a lot of tension. I felt like I felt a lot of tension with him grooming Harrison. I thought that was like the best parts of the show. Like especially where I wasn't sure. I was like, fuck, is this guy gonna try to get Harrison to like kill Dexter or some shit? Like,
agreed. I did like that aspect of it, but again, I feel like if they had developed that more and they showed him more kind of like that, like if there had been another way, I think that if Kurt found out that Dexter killed his son, that if he would have been like, okay, now I'm gonna take your son and I'm gonna fuck with him and whatever and like manipulate him and everything, if they had seeded that out a little bit more and kind of just like expanded on that, I think that would have been better. But I did like when he's like grooming him and shit, or like when he's at like the wrestling match and stuff, and he's like, just fucking give it to him, man. And it's like he's like, bringing out his dark tendencies and stuff, or even like their dinner scene where he's like they're talking and like just hanging out and stuff. I don't know. I liked that part of it, but yeah, it did leave me wanting more.
Also, I gotta mention the
hinge. Like, oh, go on, Miles.
Oh, I gotta mention the hinging point of the conflict between Caldwell and
Dexter
are screws that are supposedly titanium screws. Now,
yeah.
I know this because I know a doctor who was very pissed off by this in the show. And they weren't actually titanium. Those are stainless steel screws and the stainless steel plate that they use in surgery.
Huh.
So they weren't made out of titanium, and they aren't made out of titanium. So like the whole thing, like, oh yeah, titanium doesn't melt. It's super dumb because, well, they aren't made out of titanium. They're made out of stainless steel.
To be
it's
fair,
fine.
like I'm pretty sure
I think
that
that
furnace
is that's pretty stupid.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty stupid.
but to be fair, like I don't think it would have melted regardless.
Do your fucking
even if it was
research.
stainless steel.
This isn't.
I agree with Miles with that. That's super lazy on the Reddit's part. Honestly, that's really super lazy.
Do you guys want to talk about the laziest thing though? Something that I will agree with that
Yes.
does bother me. And I generally like this show. So this is the one that Reddit's having a field day with, and I will give this to them. Dexter did not use ketamine in the past. He used M99.
Yes.
I thought in my head, I thought that like that's why Batista was gonna be on the phone. Like, did he use ketamine? No, M99, but maybe it shows up in a different tox report. I thought that they could have just done that, or in the first place, why the fuck? Like, he's M99 is for animals. He steals it from an animal farm. Why didn't he just steal M99? It's a really weird, like. What?
Because they got lazy.
But
they got lazy.
The problem was Angela says in the last episode. I know we aren't supposed to talk about the last episode yet, but she says to him, "Yeah, that's like what it was present in all the Bay Harbor butcher killings was ketamine as well." And like that was her link right there. So how can she use that and be like, "Oh yeah, this is what connects you"? She literally says you use ketamine, so that kind of is a retcon, and it was not ketamine.
Yeah, that does bother me. I can overlook
like
it,
stuff like that. Just really annoys me. It's just like how lazy it is, how inconsistent it is, and back to the Kirk Caldwell thing and why there's no tension in those scenes. Like kind of like the Hitchcock term of the ticking time tension, ticking time bomb tension plot, where is that like he or even in that one scene in Orson Welles' Touch of Evil in the beginning, where there's a ticking time bomb within the suitcase, and the tension comes from the fact that not like the outcome because it's going to blow up, but it's because when or how, or it's like, and you present the knowledge to the audience beforehand, and their tension is not knowing the how process. So in this one, I mean, it like as Ron mentioned, they should have hammered the home better that like Kirk Caldwell's plan was to kind of like completely fuck over Dexter. Like needed to hit it harder than that, and just there's a lot of problems with those problems with actually executing tension on that part and the setup for a lot of these things, and even for the last episode. So I think problem with setup, problem with backstory, problem with a lot of the events that unfolded was kind of lacking, and also the inconsistent details for everything makes some of the characters seem dumb or just like out of a different series. That a lot of these new characters kind of fall flat for me, maybe except Angela. But even then, the fact that Angela said ketamine was used in the Bay Harbor butchering when it was M99, so it was kind of annoying. Was that officially a retcon?
Yeah,
or is that just
why didn't he just fucking steal M99? It's like Clyde Phillips. I like this show. I like the ending. I don't know how you fucked that.
They don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
That's a call. All right, so let's. Do you guys want to get into the final episode? Because I guess by us talking about the characters, we kind of just went through episodes 1 through 9.
Oh, I want to mention another character real quick. Sorry, Teddy Reed. I thought that he was actually pretty funny as the dumb cop, and the kind of comic relief.
Yeah, I wanted to see him do a little more.
Yeah, I wanted to see more.
I was like, I wanted him to be the one to bring Dexter down, kind of. No, I did like
hilarious.
Teddy Reed. I did like him.
Yeah.
He's a good character.
You should have been Masuka. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So the last episode is called Sins of the Father, directed by Marco Siega, written by Clyde Phillips, Alexandra Franklin, and Mark. I'm not even gonna try that. Mazinski. It's main thing that happens in this show, and it's broad, and we'll get into in depth. Is Dexter gets arrested, kills Logan, Harrison kills Dexter, and then the show ends. But let's get into nitty gritty. What do you guys think of the finale? Did you guys you guys find it satisfying? Did it redeem the show's original lumberjack ending? But
no, not at all.
What would you guys think?
Let me. I'll say this, because I am aware that a lot of people do not like this ending, and a lot of people say it's worse than season 8, which
Is
crazy.
completely bonkers,
which okay,
dude.
I can get behind you don't like it. But if you think this is worse than season 8, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. That's like the people that say that the prequels are better than the sequels. Like, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, it's not going down that road.
But anyways, my point being, I personally, I found it really satisfying because I think that like thematically, it just really, really worked for me. I thought that what I've always liked about Dexter, even though they don't do it enough, and it's the biggest problem with Dexter is they don't acknowledge that Dexter is the villain enough. And I thought this episode finally did. It's Dexter kills an innocent person to escape, which he would 100% do. He does that, and then he confronts Harrison, and then I love that last conversation where Harrison's like, wait, you don't care about saving people at all, do you? It's not a dark passenger, it drives, and you like that. Let me ask you this. Would Mom still be alive? Would Deb still be alive? Would all of these people still be around if you hadn't done it? And Dexter's just like, you're right. Like Dexter just completely acknowledges, you're right. I am a monster, and everyone has suffered because of it.
And probably like one of my favorite lines where he's like, I'm not angry because you left, or I'm not angry because of what happened or everything. Like, I'm angry because of you and like everything that you did, and like you didn't just abandon me that one time.
I'm not angry because I'm like you. I'm angry because of you.
Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I felt it was really satisfying. I really liked it, honestly. I think it really does redeem a lot of what happened in season 8. I think that it wraps it up really well. I love a lot of like even just the visuals of him, just like of him seeing all of his true victims, which are like, you know, LaGuerta, Dokes, Deb.
Lundy should not have been there because that's like totally not really Dexter's
Trinity
fault.
killer.
It's not really.
Well, that wasn't even
Trinity
it wasn't even
Christine.
the Trinity killer. It was Christine.
Oh, I mean,
Hill.
Trinity killer's daughter.
Yeah, Christine.
Yeah.
Hill.
Who probably would have killed him regardless.
Yeah, but everyone else deserved to be there.
Yeah, like it's just I liked that a lot, and it just, you know, ending with Deb.
I just like a lot of people wanted Dexter to run off with the sun and kill people when that's not at all the point.
I've also heard a lot of people say that they wanted a fugitive season, which is something I think that we've always kind of said that we wanted.
It would be entertaining.
Yeah. So can I give my take on what I would have liked to have happen with the ending?
Yeah.
Because,
no, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Miles. I want to hear this.
No, we could have kept some of the stuff with you know, basically him being confronted by Harrison, but I wanted to see him kind of escape from the jail, not necessarily kill somebody to escape, but he gets out into the forest, but he has a plan, much like he had the plan when he basically goes to take the swab and then stabs the guy with the pen, right, to kill him, to kind of get away with killing him and still come out looking clean. But this time he escapes, and his plan is to make it look, because there's cameras out in those woods, and we know there's cameras out in those woods, to kind of save Harrison, to make it so that Harrison doesn't get wrapped up in stuff. So they kind of have some information pointing to Harrison, and then he basically sacrifices himself to paint Harrison as the good guy, kind of let Harrison get off scot-free, and then Harrison ends up staying with Angela and with Audrey and stuff. And then you have an awkward Harrison-Audrey season where Angela starts seeing the darkness in Harrison, and she feels like committed to help this kid.
You had me until that.
And it would have worked.
I think a Harrison season would have been.
I do not give a shit about them making another season.
Okay.
They are making a Harrison season, actually.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Clyde Phillips just said they weren't. I don't know.
Did you not hear they're in talks for a continuation?
I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna watch it. And I actually can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the reason I liked it is this: Dexter either has to get caught or killed, and he kind of got both. Because the one thing I've always wanted was James Dokes to get his name cleared, and I like that. So Batista, while I agree, maybe could have had a little more of him. I think the real reason he's coming to Miami is to like prove that like Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher, and with their combined evidence, they can legally prove that. And I'm happy about that. So Dexter, it will go down as the Bay Harbor Butcher, and he's dead. And I am 1000% okay with that.
I think what makes the final episode work so well is episode 9, which I think is probably one of the best episodes in the show.
I know where you're going, and I agree with you.
It's that final conversation that he has, the kill that he does with Harrison, and how much they really show how fucked up this is. Like earlier, like, you know, Deb is like, she tells Dexter like, what Harry did to you was child abuse, right?
Great line.
And then later when he's showing Dexter, and again, like you said before, like they're not trying to portray Dexter as a hero anymore. He's very clearly like going down this path that he should not be. Like where she's like, this is the only way, and she's like, no, it's not. This is bullshit. You're just liking this. This is like, you know, there's alternatives. You can go to fucking therapy. Like you can work this shit out.
She even says prison would be better.
Well, and you can see that the dark passenger that that Harrison has is definitely very different from Dexter's, and Dexter doesn't realize that.
They do a very good job of subtly showing that Harrison is far more human.
Yeah.
Like the idea that I feel like if Harrison was less sympathetic and less understanding of like how other people are, he would have drawn a portrait of Dexter's of his mom, of Rita. But he understands. He can see that Dexter loved Deb. So there's a lot of little things like that where you can tell that that Harrison is far more human.
Yeah, the fact that he's like sociable, the fact that like, you know, he's able to develop these relationships.
Like actual relationships.
Yeah, Dexter was not able to have a girlfriend or even care about girls until Rita showed up, and that was like pretty much forced because he was just trying to be normal, and that's not Harrison's situation at all.
And then I love that scene where he's just like, and they do it really well in my opinion, where Kurt dies, and I feel like he's kind of brutal. He's like choking on his own blood and stuff.
Yeah.
But then it instantly cuts, so there's no music. Dexter is sawing off limbs, and you just see Harrison like, oh fuck. Like you see Harrison realizing what this actually means. It's no longer a concept to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they don't shy away from the brutality of it, and yeah, it's great.
And Harrison constantly states, and you know, this helps to protect all the innocent people. And you see kind of Dexter's like shrug it off. He's like, yeah.
It's like, yeah, exactly. You get it, man. You get it. Yeah, this is innocent people. This is fine.
And it's like, but Harrison really believes that because he's an impressionable youth, and he thinks that this is the way that
Harrison
he can
is
channel
making himself believe that though.
Yeah.
At that point,
oh yeah,
you can like even when they're burning the body, Harrison has this great demeanor. He's like, "We saved the day."
Yeah, well, you can tell that Harrison definitely has violent tendencies.
Yeah,
and he knows that, but he doesn't like his violent tendencies in the same way that Dexter embraced his as a kid.
Yeah, Dexter was a
sociopath. Let's make sure to go back to the finale, you guys.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, so it's I appreciate that, again, like with that setup and everything, it's more believable. And I've seen a lot of people that they've gotten mad about it, and they're like, "What? Dexter suddenly gives a shit?" It's like he's always gave a shit about his son. He's always his number one rule, again, where like what's his face? Harrison throws it back in his face is don't get caught, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's most important to you. So the fact that he's throwing that in Dexter's face, and the fact that he'll pretty much kill anyone to get away with this, it's except for family. He doesn't want to hurt family.
So I do want to address one of the biggest criticisms is that a lot of people don't think Dexter would have killed Logan. They think that's out of character.
Yes, it is very out of character.
You see, I disagree though, because I think when he was going to kill LaGuardia, and it's never confirmed, but in season 2, Dexter is going to turn himself in. And then it gets real, and he's like, well, I better get to the cabin before the FBI does. What do you think he was going to do with Dokes? Do you think he was just going to... He wasn't going to frame him anymore. Dexter knew what that would mean.
Yeah.
Dexter, I 100% believe when push comes to shove, Dexter's the bad guy. And that's... And I'll stop arguing if you don't... I'll stop arguing with after this. But I think the reason I really like it is I think this finale finally just goes to show Dexter is the bad guy. He always has been. You can't glorify this character. He is a terrible, evil person, and he belongs in jail or dead.
Also, I don't think he meant to kill Logan. I will say.
Well, that was because Logan reached for the gun.
Yeah, Logan reached for the gun, and I think that it was like he was a caged animal, and he was like, "It's either die or kill."
Yeah, and that's another thing too. That why I believe it's more believable him killing Logan. Yeah, there's evidence of him doing something like this before, but also like we've never seen Dexter backed into a corner like this, this badly in his like history before. Like the closest thing is probably with Dokes, right?
Yeah.
But again, he contemplated about it. Yeah, or LaGuardia, which he was gonna fucking kill LaGuardia.
Or the Skinner. The Skinner actually backed him into a corner. Like
Yeah,
this.
that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Square's-
regarding the
Square's a
LaGuardia
piece of shit,
thing,
though.
that's under the direction of Scott Buck, so that
Yeah.
character was already far gone by then.
But yeah, but the point is that he would have done that, and I totally believe that he would have, and that it also they kind of even hinted it before, where he was probably going to kill Angela when she was about to arrest him and shit, and he
that's
was just
a
like,
great little shot.
with him reaching for the knife, like I think, or what he was probably going to reach for the knife, he was probably going to fucking kill Angela, or at the very least disarm her, and not exactly ask nicely for her to leave him alone. So like I don't know, I'm fine with him killing Logan. It's sad, and I think narratively it makes the most sense because that's probably the person besides I forgot her name, the daughter that he's dating, Audrey, like the person that who him
Harrison
killing
cares
would have
about.
actually cared about the most, and it would have affected him the most, and have him be like, no, whoa, like Logan was a good guy, he had no reason to die. That is not okay. And then that final turn against Dexter.
And the last thing Logan says
Yeah.
to Harrison is, "Sons need their fathers."
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Very sad.
And they built up Logan throughout the entire season very well to be kind of like that good moral background or character for Harrison.
He's always trying to be on Dexter's side. He's always trying to be on Harrison's side.
Oh, that's what gets
Even-
him killed too. That's so sad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I agree with the decision to kill Logan because and it set up one of the reasons why Harrison turns on Dexter because Logan himself was like kind of like an older older mentor towards Harrison, or like just somebody Harrison looked up to and was fond of, and also completely innocent. So Harrison sees the holes in Dexter's morality system. So yeah, as for the ending, the final thing, I thought it was shot okay when Harrison kills Dexter. For some reason, it didn't have that much impact on me.
I will say that
Um,
final moment, yeah, it could have been done better. I like the decision in overall, but like it didn't, again, yeah, sorry, feel as impactful. Sorry.
I
Yeah.
agreed. I agree with the narrative decision. I just like the way they shot it, the way they framed it, the way they edited it, and having it two separate singles is just like okay, that's kind of lazy. And two, but I did like the shot where I guess Deborah has Dexter's hand and she pulls away as soon as Dexter dies, as if he's getting released. And apparently that was the intent of the actress, because apparently the original take was Dexter was going to pull his hands away from Deborah and die,
Hmm.
Well, that's
but said
weird.
they used the other take.
Yeah, no, that's
So
good.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. No, that was great. that
So-
was a beautiful moment.
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
moment of the
What did
finale,
you think
probably.
of Harrison finally reading the letter that
Yeah,
Dexter had
It's
written?
a little cliche, but it worked.
Yeah, I felt like I can't tell
Okay.
if that's like a fuck you to Scott Buck, where he's like, you know what, bitch, like I'm gonna do your shitty finale, but like so much better.
I think the ultimate Scott Buck thing is what happened to Hannah. Oh, she's dead. Cancer. I just felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just died off screen. Whatever. Let's move on.
Well, and one thing, no, I think going back to what Miles said about Angel Batista, that because they were setting up a confrontation, or that that he's gonna come first thing in the tomorrow morning. Not gonna lie, that's a dramatically rich scene that could have happened between Angel and Dexter.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Uh,
they should have had Angel kind of come in and be like, "What did you do, man? Like, wait, was she right? Was Dokes right? Like,
I think it's implied that Angel at this point knows. Like he's probably. I mean, you have to also remember in context. It's stupid as fuck, but like Angel like directly watched Dexter murder someone, and like
Yeah.
and Quinn's like the real savior of Dexter there, where Quinn's like looks like self-defense to me because
Mhm.
Quinn definitely knows Dexter's the Bay Harbor Butcher and also doesn't give a fuck about Oliver Saxon. But like the second Dexter disappeared, I bet you Batista was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I actually think that my hot take is I think Batista shouldn't have been in the series at all. Like
Well,
I
he
know
either
why they
shouldn't
did
have been
it.
in the series, or he should have played a more
I think
prominent role. I think.
Yeah.
the point they were going for is that he will come to Iron Lake and they can legally prove Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. But I don't know. I just like, I mean, like Philip said earlier, ideally, in the perfect world, Clyde Phillips would have ended this show in Miami, but unfortunately, that's not what happened. So I don't know. I just
I'm okay with it not ending in Miami, honestly. I think it was fine like this. I think it was good. It would have been,
or maybe not
could've
in
been
Miami,
better.
but at least with the characters from the original series. Let's say like Clive Phillips, because obviously, like, look, as much as this ending is a huge improvement of the original, it's still kind of just whelmed from me overall. But I was satisfied in the sense that okay, well, it is, you know, it has. It does tie up the ends, the loose ends and stuff from the series, and as you know, Blake says, James Stokes' name is probably cleared, but emotionally it wasn't like insanely satisfying because and Clyde Phillips did a disservice to himself where he mentions his ideal ending. How it would happen is that kind
that
of
would have been
after
perfect.
season 4 fugitive season, he gets caught, and then like as he's on about to be executed, he sees all the his big outings as a serial killer.
Can we go to the universe where that happened?
Yeah, that would have been great. And also, like, at that point, like, then because part of the satisfying reveal, and not to get into Breaking Bad or whatever, but like part of the satisfying dramatic what's it called, tension of the show is whether or not, like, some characters will know about the main character's dual identity, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in this one, in the cases, that's part of the satisfying element of that, and we never get that. You know what I mean? Yeah, Angel Batista's like, I kind of know, and he goes, but we never see, confrontation between the two.
I think
You don't see, like, we don't see Vince Masuka. It's like, Vince Masuka was one of Dexter's best friend. How would he have reacted to that?
it would have been fan service, but I would have been okay with, like, we cut to Miami like 6 months later, and like you remember on the season 8 finale, Batista's like, Dexter, when he sees like Dexter is dead news article.
Yeah.
We could have like done something. It would have been fan service. We could have done something where it cuts to 6 months, and I don't know, maybe we see what Harrison's up to,
And then a portal opens up, and then Robo Dokes comes out, and he's like, "Surprise, motherfucker!"
Psycho freak detective.
See,
Yeah.
I just
So,
wanted,
like,
I wanted like a
this we didn't
mention-
get.
Oh, I wanted a mention of Vince Masuka like accidentally dying from autoerotic asphyxiation.
Vince
though.
Masuka is married
Uh,
now. If
yeah.
you pause on
Yeah.
Angel Batista's email, it
Huh.
says there's an email from Joseph Quinn, and it says, "Bro, are you going to Masuka's bachelor party or not?"
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm happy for
I
Masuka.
am amazed
Yeah,
that
good for
Quinn is still a
Masuka.
cop somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sergeant, or he might be sergeant. Like, he's still a sergeant. We'll
Quinn's
see.
never going to be a sergeant.
he
We'll
probably shouldn't be. We'll say.
No, he shouldn't. But yeah, because like, and that part's not satisfying. Like, obviously, like the crew of characters that we find out never, that dramatic tension is never resolved, and that's just impossible, I guess, because they wanted to do the reboot cool thing, series revival. So this series finale, quote unquote, it was impossible to be 100% satisfying or amazing in any way. But this is, I think, the best it probably could have, maybe. So I give it props for there. Clyde Phillips did the best with the hand he
think
was
that
dealt.
The only criticism I have is I think that maybe one more episode, because I think that, like,
The fallout.
they could not even that. I just mean the lead up. I think that it does happen a little fast. It works because I think in episode 9 they do such a great job of just showing how fucked up Dexter is and like Harrison's reaction. But I do think we could have stretched this out a little bit longer and have had a full on episode where Harrison really faces like Dexter and just kind of, not like literally, but like faces like who Dexter is and is like, holy shit, I do not want this. But I don't know, maybe they were limited or something. Because I do think that, like, that is a huge criticism that a lot of people have that I do, and that's like one of them I do agree with, is that I think that maybe we could have had one more episode to really flesh this out. But given they only had 10 episodes, I think they did a pretty good job. It certainly feels better than episode 8, where it's like, hurricane. Like, so.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, or they could still have 10 episodes and cut some of the other stuff out. Like,
Yeah, that's true. They could have cut out the rich billionaire guy. Oh yeah, that's the rich billionaire guy bothers me a lot.
Yeah,
He's
it's
just there.
like I said, it's he's still going back to his old vices of adding weird subplots, and it's fine. Whatever. Let's get
It wasn't
into.
as bad.
Like I said, no, it's better. Yeah, you guys want to get into final ratings now and kind of final wrap ups?
Well, I guess we kind of glazed over it, but there was that one really cool kill that he did with the clown in Miami.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Which was apparently like one of his earlier kills when he, pre the Dexter TV show.
Real John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, I thought that was very.
I thought that guy
very
was
freaky and
too
cool.
cartoony and evil for me. Where it's like, I get that he's explaining this to Harrison, so he has to choose like the worst person ever. But that guy's like, I'm killing children. And I'm like, no one is this fucking bad.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, John Wayne Gacy had a lot of those tendencies.
John Wayne
especially...
Gacy owned 3 Kentucky Fried Chickens.
Yeah.
But allegedly, when he did put on the clown makeup and stuff, he would go into this like animalistic mode where he would like snarl and like growl and bite and shit at like the victims, the ones that were able to survive. So I could see that. It does, but it does feel a little cartoony, and I do understand though in context why he would choose this guy in particular. You know, just be like, I'm pretty sure this dude was like one of the worst people I've killed.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
All right, let's go. Let's have a wrap up, everybody. Anybody last final thoughts and opinions, and let's get into ratings.
I wanted to mention one last thing. I'm sorry. How did you guys feel about the new music? Obviously, the OG Daniel, I'm going to fuck up his last name, but it's Daniel Litch or something, unfortunately passed away a few years ago. And, the Dexter soundtrack was always really, really great. I thought that was one of the best aspects of the original show. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But instead, Pat Irwin did the...
Yeah.
And I
think he did a fine job.
I like the use of, like, established music, except for in 2 cases where it really bothered me. But let me talk about the positive, then I'll get into the negative. Sorry for dragging this on. I did like a lot of the use of music. Like I loved the opening scene with like that song where it's like, I'm a passenger. I liked almost every use. There's the 2 scenes that bothered me though, where the Molly Park introduction scene with like that rock music was just really like, that was pretty cringe, bro. And also like Kurt Caldwell when he's trying to burn down Dexter's cabin, it's playing like rock music for some reason. And I don't know, I thought that didn't work either. But what did you guys think about the music choices in this?
I
think it was fine. Pat Irwin, obviously Rocko's Modern Life and Nurse Jackie did a solid job. The music was fine. I like the blood theme. When they used it, when they did, I think it was like episode 1 and stuff.
Yeah, that was smart.
It's not like in the original series when they would play that like every fucking episode, like, every possible chance, like every time Dexter like realizes something, it's like, okay, they really kind of beat that to death.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. You guys, what about you, Miles? You have anything to say about the composer?
I thought the music was okay. It worked well as atmospheric music. Yeah, I mean, I didn't notice anything great about it, but I also didn't it didn't stand out as like detracting. So, I mean, that's all you can ask for from music, I guess.
Yeah. Solid. Yeah. All right, Miles. All right, what about you? What's your overall thoughts and final rating?
So yeah, I'm gonna have to put this one streaming with ads. Also, I know I'm putting everything streaming with ads. It was a good show, but I mean, honestly, if I wasn't doing it for the podcast, and my dad didn't pay for Showtime, I would not have paid for a service to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Ron?
I'm gonna put it on the shelf. I had a really good time watching this show. It's the most fun I've had watching Dexter since probably season 4. I was invested. I was having a good time. Like the characters were fun. A lot of the stuff they were doing with Dexter was cool. There were some annoying parts, like particularly episode 4, which we didn't really get into, but a lot of the stupid shit that Dexter was doing, I was like, that's just really dumb and annoying. But
episode
hey,
4 is stupid.
But it wouldn't be Dexter without some of that. I had a great time watching it, and I was really I couldn't wait to watch the next episode. I was like, I binged like the first like 5 episodes like pretty quickly because I was enjoying it, and especially compared just coming out of seasons like 5 through 8, where I was like just trudging along and just like not wanting to watch anymore. Like this was a really great breath of fresh air, and I feel like they wrapped it up in a really satisfying way, and I enjoyed it. I think they did the best with what they could, and yeah, I had a good time. On the shelf.
What about you, Blake?
So also I mostly talked positives because I wanted to. There are a lot of things on the show that bothered me, like the fake red herring and then the character just disappears. Obviously the M99 thing is really, really just such a weird fuck up on their part. And like Batista, but I really, really did like it. I am a huge Dexter guy. I'm aware it's not great, but I love the character. I love it. So I'm going to have to put this very, very high on my shelf. I thought this did, for me, a great job of putting the character to rest.
Okay.
How about you?
Okay.
Jean-Philippe?
Philly.
Philip.
What's it called? I want to put it. I want to put it on. What's it called? That would make you happy. I want to put it streaming with ads, but I put season 7 streaming with ads, and it's better than season 7. So this is probably the lowest premium streaming rating I'll ever give. Lowest. Man, you know what? Never mind. That's too generous. I'll just give it streaming with ads. Yeah, it's streaming with ads. And like I said, the ending is much better than season 8. But it's impossible to be satisfying because it has to acknowledge the events of season 5 through 8. As I mentioned before, it's I think like what, second best. I mean nowhere near the ending for Michael C. Hall's show 6 Feet Under, which is unfair because that has, I think, what many consider to be the best TV series ending of all time. It's okay. Yeah, it's fine. I'll probably never touch the show ever again. I think I've watched it too many times. I watched it as a kid, watched it as an adult, and I think that's it. I really hope they don't make season 10 called Harrison.
No.
And that's it.
I agree.
Alright,
I think we can all agree that we do not want to see.
We don't want Harrison.
We don't want to continue
Yeah.
this.
I do want to see that actor though. I do like
Alright.
that Jack Alcott kid. He's really good.
Now all we have to do is watch Lost, and then we'll have appeased.
Fuck.
No,
Blake.
please,
no.
please,
They,
Mom.
they just
Do not
announced
put
a
that
Lost
idea
revival.
in place.
Ugh.
So they announced a Lost revival, so you better start rewatching.
Please not. Please not.
There's no Lost
Okay,
revival.
sounds good. All right, thank you guys for another episode of Half a Clue TV review. We ended the dynasty of Dexter, which started off our TV review line.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I hope you guys hear our next episode, and stay filthy.
Yeah,
Nice.
and one thing we didn't mention is this show is has a lot of parallels to Hawkeye. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay,
This is the
that's-
dark
that's-
passenger for Hawkeye.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
good night,
guys.
everybody.
Bye.
What'd you
Bye.
think? Let us know. Bye.